This week on Dynamics Connections ISV Talks, we have Ryan McBee from iSolutions. iSolutions applications offer credit card processing and AR automation and collections management, all of which seamlessly integrates with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Next up is Ryan. We're doing a little kind of informal, casual conversation around your products and iSolutions. So I'm really excited. Thank you for being with us today on Dynamics Connections ISV Talks. So super excited to have you as a guest. So thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe give a quick introduction of yourself, a little bit about your company.
Yeah, Carol, thanks for having me on. So myself, quick about me, I've been in the Microsoft channel for about 20 years. I quickly got into it. My first job out of school was a end user of, I was an end user of Great Plains, kind of like doing basic bookkeeping, like cutting checks, collection calls, like using that software. Then I kind of got recruited into getting into consulting. And at first I'm like, what the heck is consulting? Like, I'm going around implementing these systems. That sounds boring. But I took the job and I was like, this is a lot of fun because, you meet so many people, the projects are all totally different. If you have a bad project, it's not going to be there forever. And then, so I've been, GP most of my career. And then probably about 3 years ago, we started doing GP upgrades. And on the homepage, GP would be like, hey, upgrade to Business Central, and Microsoft starts hounding our customers like, hey, migrate over. And I was like, okay, well, let's figure out a plan B for the business. And the idea of selling ERP software is hard. It's a lot of it's a big commitment from people. So I was like, why don't we just create an app for BC? That sounds like a lot more fun, and being in the App Store sounded pretty cool to me. And so we created the app started off really small. It just allowed you to do like payments on open sales orders in BC. Then, we picked up some clients, and, a couple clients like, hey, can you guys like add these 2 or 3 things? We're like, yeah. And we signed up a few like really big deals, and we were like, oh crap, we need to do like 10 or 15 things to, be able to meet the business requirements. So we did that, and we started adding a lot of little features people need, like with accounts receivable, like, you post an invoice, it automatically emails the customer. Not rocket science, but it's nice. Reminders, hey, you owe me money. We had this whole thing called like a collection summary window, and add all these little nuggets. Then 3 years later, it's just like, very robust. We got a really large client base, and a lot of partners are finding us, so it's been fun.
So you started out as a partner, and then you got into doing some development and some GP add-ons. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, I actually started off as a customer, and then then a partner.
Okay. Yeah.
Then an ISV. So customer, partner, and an ISV. So.
Yeah. So where did the name iSolutions originate? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it was probably about like 2007 or around that time when I started the company. And at that time, it was like iPad, iPhone and things. And I was like, what about iSomething? And I think my wife did come up with the name iSolutions. Then, I never really defined like what the I stands for. It could be like integrated solutions, intelligent solutions. So I just like, there's a lot of words that could be. So,
So what products does your solutions integrate? You mentioned Business Central, but what other products do you integrate with?
So really we focus on, everything Microsoft related. We do have a GP plugin, for payments and things of that nature, but F&O and CRM, but, I'd say 90% of our clients are all on BC. That's, and that's where we're putting all of our effort, because we feel like that's the future. And so we're definitely heavy BC.
Yeah, I definitely think in the AR automation space, this is kind of like one that's sort of the sleeper. A lot of
Yeah,
things are going on in the AP automation space, but really honestly, AR automation makes makes a lot of sense, right? Getting paid faster, having customers have self-service, having automation
yeah.
and reminders, it all makes sense. I don't know why people don't look at that, and they're too worried about paying their bills, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the new things that you're looking to introduce to add value and help customers along their way with Business Central?
Yeah. So, when we started the app, I kind of envisioned like, hey, we'll complete it and then it'll be done. And, now 3 years later, I'm like, it's never done. It's always like, what's the next
Right.
feature? Like
Mhm.
in every business we deal with, they all have their very unique business requirements. I'd say probably where we're headed more is, we're working on a portal, like our own customer portal where, people can log in and place orders, see open orders, inventory status. Obviously they can make payments on open invoices, see history, change information, then right back to BC. That's what we're working on in Q4 of this year.
Oh, that's exciting, actually. Yeah. So anything you kind of make it more, accessible and self-service is great. What are some observations that you're having as you're working with partners about kind of what's going on, either longtime partners or the NAV and Business Central partners? What are you hearing about AR automation, credit card processing?
Um, just with BC out of the box, there's just a lot of little things missing.
Yeah.
Like a couple things I mentioned, like if you post an invoice, you have to manually email it. I think, in my opinion, that should be there. Things like taking note, like AR aging notes, like things we do, like very basic things.
Mhm.
A lot of partners see our app and they, it's a very like it's anything accounts receivable. We have covered within our solution. I think a lot of partners that really know ERP, they see it and are like, wow, you guys really knocked it out of the park and you've got every little thing covered that someone would potentially need.
Mhm. Yeah, I talked to a partner yesterday who was definitely a fan of yours, that every Business Central client should have their collection management app.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Nice. You have to
yeah,
tell me who that is later.
yeah, I know, right? Send them a gift card.
Yeah.
Um, so what kind of trends are you seeing, basically in the future around kind of AR automation, collection management, portals? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think, elimination of like paper, obviously
Mm,
that's been, it's been around for a long time. That's
yeah,
something on the AP side, but people just want to make things easier. And, as easy as we make it now, people still want more, more automation and easier. And they just want everything to happen. And, you know, so that, that's what we're hearing.
um, is there one trend that you see in the space that are driving customers or partners to talk to you?
Um, Probably one trend, not really. I wouldn't say one trend, but like I said, I think when I do two types of demos. One is when someone's like looking to buy BC, and then the second type of like prospect we have is when someone is on BC. And when I show someone that's on BC today and I show them our app, they're like, yeah, we need to sign up for this right now. Like this is a
Right.
no-brainer. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really exciting too when we do those. And I'm always like at the end of the demo, I'm like, hey, how's this compare to how you're doing things today? And they're like, they start laughing like this is like 100 times better. So
Right.
that's very self-rewarding. It's fun.
I remember the day of like you print out the aging report, you'd write like
Yeah,
on
you're
your little
like
sticky, like,
paper.
okay, I called them, they promised to pay, and then you move those sticky
Yeah.
notes to the next week's aging.
Yep.
So this is way far beyond that.
Yep.
So is there any challenges you see facing companies, especially after getting back, to work some people are going back to the office, but even just still kind of working remotely?
Not that I see, honestly, I feel like if we're in this pandemic, a long time ago with like without BC, you know, like everything's like really easy now. You have Teams, and you know, you log in Office 365, everything's there, your BC's there. And remember back in the day, if you were like working off site, like you'd have to have a Cisco VPN, and you know, then you know, to get in the network, and then terminal servers. It was a lot. There was a lot more work for IT people back then. But I think honestly, I feel like with all the technology, I think it's pretty easy.
Super. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes. Is there anything else you want to share with our viewers about iSolutions? And
no, I don't think so. We have a trial version. Like I said, we have a lot of things baked in our app outside of, you know, if you're like, well, Ryan, you know, hey, we don't take credit cards. Hey, that's fine. If you have AR, then let's talk. We've, you know, like I said, we've got a lot of other things baked in, and if you want to download it or get a free key for 3 months, you know, we'd be happy to, you know, let you leverage some of those tools and see what you think.
Yeah, I know some of the partners have told me they themselves use your solutions internally, so it's always a good way to you know, try out a product and you know, vet it and get comfortable with it before you recommend it to your clients. And so yeah, so, and the trial version, so is that available for just any customer?
Yeah, anyone running BC, you know, I think, you know, current BC, like one challenge we do have is, you know, if someone's like, hey, you know, I'm running nav 2012 or 2008 or something, and we need your stuff. I'm like, hey, sorry, man, we're just not, we don't go back that far. So it's
not backwards compatible.
Yeah, well, we started our app on the ground. We started our app on BC 15, like all fresh new code. And we've had very few issues with our app, I think, because we started fresh on BC 15, where some of our competitors had like old code from like nav 2008, and they've cobbled it together and patched it. And, you know, ours was built fresh with BC.
Yeah, so you kind of got in the ground floor, so to speak, on the latest version. So Ooh, awesome. So I'm gonna share your contact information. So this is how to reach you, right?
Yep, that's me.
That's you. Okay, so and then you've got your website, isolutionpayments.com. So check it out. Also on our ISV library, we also have great information and resources for partners to use and learn a little bit more about your solutions. So, well, thanks, Ryan. I really appreciate you being a part of our ISV Talks, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Carol.
Thanks.